Good morning, back again. I'm just wanting to show you a lovely little project you can make using the new Festive Fancies board from Crafters Companion. Mine, I've had a couple of weeks and yes, it looks very used. That's because it has been. It's great. I love this board. You've got a cracker on one side with some beautiful embellishments and a tag, which is really useful. And on the other is this lovely star box, and you've got some beautiful little flourishes and swirls, a banner and some stars. We're going to be working on the cracker side, not just for Christmas, but this one is. And this is the project that we're going to make. And hopefully I can give you a few little hints and tips along the way to make your life easier. All right, so if we start, the card I'm using is from the new Scandinavian A3 card pack, which comes out during birthday week. So yes, look out for that. It's lovely. Right, so if we bring in the board, and you can use this on your Ultimate Pro because it clips in and holds in place there. Just because of the way I prefer to work, I'll use it without the Ultimate at the moment. All right, so my board, one of the reasons it looks so well worn and very sparkly is because I've got stick and spray on it, just so that it makes it easier to hold the cardstock in place. And this new cardstock is double-sided. There are 4 designs and they're absolutely stunning. So yeah, if you can get your hands on that, I definitely could not recommend it enough. This is what we're going to have as the right side. So this is the side we want embossed. So we're going to put it face down, all right, and stick it nicely to the board, okay? And then what you want to do is emboss around the outside so that you get the shape of the cracker to cut out. And you can lift it off a little bit so that you can, if you're having trouble finding the grooves, you can see them physically and pop them in. When you've done this a few times, you kind of like remember where you're supposed to be going. So please play, you know, do it on some scrap cardstock. You'll probably find that your scrap cardstock actually ends up looking really stunning, especially when you start to embellish. And there are some nice embellishment lines which I'll also show you in a minute. So you can use plain cardstock and then just put patterned papers over the top. So you can use your plain Centura pearl as the base and put patterns over it. You could even do a nice white on white, which would look really pretty. So you could do embossed, use your embossing boards and do sections over the top. I'm sorry, this is not going to be very clear for you to see. I think even if I'd used Centura pearl for this section, or for, you know, showing you this bit, you probably still wouldn't have seen it particularly well. And like I said, you will start to know roughly where you're going with this. And you actually don't need to be perfect anyway, because it only embosses where it can, where there's a dip, where there's a groove. If you go outside of that groove, it won't show on the right side anyway. which is quite nice. And like I say, when you've done a few of these, you do start to work out where you're going. She says, I'm missing one. That's it, there we go, found him. And another line here. I wanted to show you all of it so that you can actually kind of get some idea of how long it takes, or how long it doesn't take really, because it is very, very quick to do this. Just talk amongst yourselves. Just have the other side of these. Now, there will be a video coming out with this as well, so Sarah will be doing, or has done, a video to go with these boards. So there are some fabulous, fabulous ideas on there for you. Probably much better than mine. Right, I think she says lifting it off carefully. And that's the wonderful thing with the stick and stay, is it does allow you to lift it up and put it back down without taking all of it off in one hit. Yep. So that's all. No, it's not. I've missed a line. It's only one. But because I put the cardstock right up to the edge, I've got a reference point, so I can actually get it back in place. And was it that end? No, it's this end. Please excuse my cat in the background there. She's very noisy. Okay, right, that's better. Right, so now all we need to do is cut it out. And what you want to do is cut the outside of the embossing, so you're leaving the embossed line there. It just gives it a nice, it's pretty. Embossing always looks good, so if you leave it in place, it's quite nice. Talk amongst yourselves again. Now I do have a nice little natty trick for you in a minute, once the outer edge is cut, because there is a section that we need to take from each end that allows the cracker shape to form when you glue it all together, which Sarah on the video does using a craft knife, because it's inside the cracker, so you can't normally get a pair of scissors in there. But as I said on one of my previous videos, I really hate using a craft knife, so if I can avoid it I will, and luckily on this particular project you can avoid it. So right, what you're going to do is score everything onto the front, because this is the embossed side, so you fold away from your embossed lines. What I'm going to do is this line across here, which is, if I show you on the board, is this line here. All right, so I'm going to do that one first, and that will allow you to see how to avoid using a craft knife. Now I'm going to get a pencil and show you where these embossed lines are. So you've got an embossed line here, and oops, she says, and here. So you've got little V's, all right, to give you, if I show you on one I've got ready, this little cutout here. So what we want to do is we want to cut these out. Now when it's open you're cutting around this bit, yeah, but if you fold it in half, because it's the same either side, you can just cut it out with a pair of scissors, because it matches both sides. Okay, and it doesn't take long to do either, so it can actually speed you up a little bit. I have to say this new cardstock is lovely. It's not coated. You know, the Centura Pearl has got that lovely sheen on it, which is absolutely fabulous, don't get me wrong, and I love it to bits. Especially those gorgeous Christmas patterned ones. But this is uncoated, so you can ink onto it and things like that. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's got such a lovely feel to it. When you get hold of a pack for yourselves, you'll see what I mean. And it smells nice too. Right, okay, so now we need to fold the rest of our lines. And don't worry too much, you're going, she's folding it the wrong way, because you're going to fold it back on itself. It's just to give it the memory of what to do first of all. And these are your little gluing flaps at the end. Right, and then we turn it over and we fold it back again. Oops. All right. Okay. All right, so now we have our cracker shape. with our little gluing flap there. Now on the one that I've made here, you can see we've got lovely sparkly glittery ends. I'm not going to show you how to do that. You know how to glue, and you know how to throw a bit of glitter on things, but I don't have time to wait for the glue to dry. So here's one I did earlier. You can tell I grew up with Blue Peter, can't you? Now I've now got another lovely little tip for you with regards to your glue. I always keep spare little bits of card, and I use them as spreaders, because when you're doing things like this where you've got gluing flaps, I like to spread my glue out. So I'll put the glue on, and I use tacky glue because I love this stuff. Alright, so put some on, and then I use my little homemade spreader to spread the glue about. And there's a couple of reasons for doing this. It gives you a better gluing, wider gluing surface, because if you just like scribble it all over, you're going to miss bits, aren't you? And because you've spread it out, it also grabs quicker. So yes, you still get a little bit of movement time, but it's going to dry quicker because it's a thinner coating. All right. Oh, and you don't get any ooze. You know how when you've put too much glue on something, it oozes. Well, this doesn't ooze because you've spread it out. Well, as long as you take off the excess. Only thing you do have to be careful of with the little piece of card is you keep it out of the way, because I keep gluing it to projects. And there you have it. Right, so that is your basic cracker. Now, on your board, I did say that you've got all these lovely little embellishment bits. So what I'm going to do for mine is the little bell. All right, so I've got some luxury cardstock mirror. Sorry if that flashed a bit too much. And I'm just going to pop that down. And try desperately hard, she says. Oops. And while I'm here, see these lines here? These are for your matting and layering, and that's what I was saying about, you know, you could do the white on white, so you could have a Centura pearl base for your card, for your cracker, and then cut out these bits and run them through an embossing folder and put those in white on top, which I should probably be having a go at some point because it sounds really nice and I've just come up with the idea. And this is, you can see I can rub like that and it doesn't affect the front. I'll show you it when I turn it back over. Making sure I get all of the embossing. And if you can't find like the little circle in the middle, if you scribble over it, you can feel it. So if I turn that over now, you can see, you can't see where I scribbled, but you can see where I embossed. So we'll just cut this one out. Should learn to sing or something really, shouldn't I? So that during these little quiet concentration moments I can hum you a tune. Probably best that I don't actually, but Alright, so, and again, in true Blue Peter style, I do have some I've already done and lost in the process. There we go. Right. There we are, and then we've got some ribbon. And this tag was also done on the board, so that's this tag here, and it's fabulous because you can actually make it different sizes so that you can actually fit your wording on. So this one I decided that the jingle all the way wouldn't fit on this little bit, so I did it a bit longer. And if you're interested, this jingle all the way sentiment is from the Sentimentals Vintage Christmas Season's Greetings pack. So what we're going to do is, I think I'll put my ribbon on first. This is about 45 centimetres of ribbon. Gives you a little bit to cut off as well, you know, once you've got it sorted the way you want it. I always think the bows are really quite fiddly, but they do look really pretty and finish this sort of thing off beautifully. So I'm not entirely sure what else you could do on the ends other than ribbon or string, because you've got to hold it in somehow, haven't you? Okay, and like I said, you can cut off the excess, do it at pretty little angles. Trying, of course, not to cut your bow at the same time. Okay, so those are the ends, and then I'm just going to use a bit of glue gel to stick. Sorry, you might not have been able to see that. Bit of glue gel, and stick one of the bells to the end of the tag. A nice little bit of beautiful shiny rope, and I'm just going to make a little bow. There we go. A nice little bow to add to that. Okay, and then if we stick these on the sides, okay, and then on the front, just leave this nicely lifted off. And there you have it, one beautiful Christmas cracker. But like I said, you don't have to make it for Christmas. You can make them as wedding favours, party gifts for children. I mean, the possibilities really are endless. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I've given you a few little hints along the way. Enjoy the new boards, they are fab. Bye.